Okay. Hey, everybody. Stay with me here. Okay. How's everyone doing? Sorry, this thing was giving me some weird thing about the video being unable. There we go. Hey, Joe Mama. Joe Mama. Are you the same Joe Mama from Twitter? I remember there was a lady who was on Twitter a couple of years ago. No, okay, different one. It's a common name. It's a common name. How's everyone doing? Oh boy. Oh man. Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon from rainy Liverpool this morning or afternoon. The heat wave is over, and my poor little air conditioners are breathing a sigh of relief. They got the day off. Now, who didn't get the day off are my poor trapped short sellers who are trapped under 6306. They're in a little bit of a meat grinder. So, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Trading Syndicate, where we teach normal people, regular people, how to make a living in this insanely whacked out industry in a practical way. That's our life mission here, is to help you trade, make some money, and have a better life instead of obsessing and wasting time. So exactly, S-Pill. Sunday we gap down. And we're in distribution now. I'll tell you a little story. Anybody here old enough to remember the block trading syndicate? Say if you had like 5 million shares of a company and you wanted to sell one or two, you would go to the block guys and ladies and say, look, I've got a block of this stock for sale. And they'll go, okay, well, we could buy, a million shares or place a million shares of that block at a 30 or 40% discount. Now, most people will go for that deal because, let's face it, stock is 15 cents a pound. It's just paper. Well, they can always get more. So they do that, right? Now, a way to induce shorting would be to spread fake rumors with the block people that a block of a certain stock was for sale, and they would actually automatically start shorting it once they found out that someone was shopping a block. And I feel like this market, for the last, 2 years at least, it feels like somebody's been spreading false rumors that they're, shopping blocks at 50% discounts because everybody seems to short the holy living crap out of this market. And the more they short it, the higher it goes. Hey, Sandy, how are you? Right? So we have three gaps underneath us that are very obvious and fairly significant. And then we have this huge move from 60.65 all the way up to 61.86, and it only took a couple of days. And a nice distribution above here, but we just hit a new all-time high in Globex. Now, Globex inventory is very long, right? So what I would do is I'd get people to spread short rumors, right? Somebody's selling a block at a discount. Everybody would short the stock, my investors would buy it, and then we'd rail it. It's a great way, right? take a stock under $5, go down to 350, get everybody to short it. And then, once you've bought it all up, you gap it up in the morning. And then you just keep lifting the offer and make the shorts painfully cover it 3-4 times what they shorted at. Hey, Green. Well, you don't trade futures? That's okay. We'll teach you how to trade equities. It's all the same thing, right? Here's a NVIDIA, right? If you take a look at this particular deal, I've had, oh gosh, if I pull up a daily chart on it, I'm telling people watch 172.37. And if you go and you put that on a different time frame, half an hour, 5 minute, whatever you want, you can see that there's a seller at 172.37. Right? Right? Do you see that? So if you're thinking of going long the stock, what do? Right? You can wait for a pullback, right, and see if it holds that low there at around 171, right? But in the old days, what people would do is they would wait until the stock gets up over 172.37, comes back and tests it, comes back above, and then they'd buy it here. They'd put their stop here. And then we could work out levels of where you could sell it, right? That's the look below and fail trade. It works on anything. Works in Forex. It works in anything where there's supply and demand, right? It's just one of those things. So getting back to ES, overnight inventory is about, 80, 90% long, right? Because it's all above yesterday's close. Also, we're opening on a gap. So you got long inventory and a gap. So the natural, normal course of business is when the market opens is to do this, go down and sell the market down, see if we can get a gap fill. Now, gaps don't automatically fill, right? You see sellers and buyers, my friend, on a 1-minute candle chart. Buyers are created when sellers stop selling. I'll go over it. If you look at the earlier video I did this morning, and it's in the YouTube catalog, I'll explain exactly how it works. And all you need is a 1-minute candlestick chart. You don't need any special software. You don't need any, anything. All you need is a little bit of common sense, the ability to pay attention, the ability to draw a straight line on a candle chart, and the ability to focus. Now, most of those things, actually all of those things, don't cost you anything, right? We want to teach people to trade and make a buck and make a living and not have to, get sucked into all these, special order flow software things, right? It's all snake oil, right? It's all marketing, right? Save your money for something fun. Like that new Harley Davidson. Right? Sorry, I got stuck looking at motorcycles again on YouTube. Still haven't gotten it out of my system. So we're looking for the backfill, right? The level I would be really focused on any selling, if I'm looking at just this TPO chart, is this 62.25 area down here. Because if we break that 63.25 level, did I say 62? I did, didn't I? So 63, this market keeps going higher and higher. Do you see all this blue stuff? That is the candy in the piñata. 63.25 is the piñata low. So if you break that low, the probability of all that candy falling out is good. The only problem is there are a bunch of people trapped short at the overnight low, trapped short here, here, and here. So there will be buyers who compete. And when you have buyers who are competing, it makes it a very difficult market to short for any length of time. Let's go show you guys. So let's take a look at what we've got here. The overnight point of control is at 34 3/4. We're going to be opening on a significant gap up. This is that poor low. Now, if you were in our trading room, hey Anne-Marie, how are you? Last night, I posted this scenario and I said, look, because the market went up at the end of the day, right, a lot of people got trapped short going into the close off this G, right? And I said, if the market cannot break 62.98 and a half, it's going to rotate up, and please be careful shorting it. Lo and behold, we have a poor low, which equals buyers are competing for product. Why? Because they're short under this level. So they come in and start buying here, right? Which forces the market higher. As the shorts start to compete for product, price gets pushed ridiculously high. Now, when we take yesterday's high, anybody who was using yesterday's high as a stop gets blasted out, right? The buying comes in, right? The buying comes in, and of course we had that news from Leather Jacket Guy, right? Leather Jacket Guy gets to sell his goodies in China, right? He went to the White House, gave the president a leather jacket. Everyone's like Fonzie now, right? So market rips up, right? Comes back down, and then rips again. There's no supply up here other than the supply that's being sold by the people who own it down here, right? There's nobody who owns the ES at 63.63 or 6,400 that's selling into this. That's the problem with shorting a high on a position basis. Shorting the backfill, not a bad thing at all, right? This is a backfill. The market rips up, and then you short the back end of that move, right? And the nice thing when a market is in new high territory is when you can short the backfill, and if you miss the backfill short, you can always go long on the next counter trend trade, right? You know, Raj, I don't even know where VWAP is. Hang on. Thank you for reminding me. Ah, there it is. Raj, everybody is short from yesterday. There are short positions piled upon short positions piled upon short positions, right? And that's why we have this sort of meat grinder. Every time the market sells off, it sells off for a day, right? No, you wait until you see a seller. Don't worry about the candle, Aries. What you want to do is you always want to short the backside of the move. It's harder to do when markets go straight up. So for example, let's go. Okay, this was news, so it's a little bit more difficult. Let's go take a look at this move here. Okay? So what you do is you wait for that long move to play itself out. Once it puts in a top, the next candle and the next candle should not go anywhere near that candle. So you build your short position here, you put your stop at the top of that candle, and then you bid the market as it comes down. Right? Sometimes you don't get a big candle. Sometimes it's like a little thing like this and then down. So you don't have to worry about the size of the candle. All you want to do is identify that sellers are competing. How do you identify sellers are competing? Because the offer keeps getting pushed lower. Because sellers are competing with each other right? That's why you get a trend line. That's what creates a trend line. An uptrend means buyers are competing for product. A downtrend means sellers are competing to sell the product. It's pretty simple. But I've never heard anybody explain trend lines in that manner. But that's the actual business that's causing the trend. So what's going on now? Distribution, right? You notice it's going between 34 and 3/4 and 38, back and forth and back and forth. The candles are getting a little smaller, right? Which means business is starting to slow down, right? There's less people coming into the store, right? Because who wants to buy this at all-time highs, right? Our top is 63.43. So now what we do is we sit and wait. The algo that lifts the offer is called... Oh, that sounds rather naughty, Horizon. It's a family-friendly room, man. Yes, that's what human beings used to do in the old days. So whatever kind of naughty name they call the algorithm, right? It actually looks for orders coming in and lifts the price. Think of it as, and for us, an easier way to deal with that is look at this level right here, for example, right? Pretend that this is a glass door. And when the market gets down here, it looks through the glass door and it sees a bunch of buyers lined up outside the glass door. So what does it do? Lifts price. Now, if it sees people walking back into the parking lot to their cars, it follows them and says, "Come back, my friend, I'll give you a good price." Right? It's the same thing. The commerce is still the same. It's just that these algorithms and electronic trading, right, has made the delivery process of inventory and the accumulation process of how inventory is acquired and distributed, which is basically what trading is, right? It's made it insanely, insanely accurate and efficient, right? So these algos are wonderful because they execute 300 trades in the time that it takes a human being to do one. They always show up for work in the morning. They're never hungover. You don't have to bail an algo out of jail at 3 in the morning, and you don't have to put them in rehab. Yeah, but it doesn't show up for work, half in the bag, right? Software doesn't go out and spend the night at Scores, right? Okay. High functioning algo. Hey, Redbeard, what's going on? They got you at work? That happens. Life gets in the way. That's okay. The market's not going to... We're here every day. It's not like the circus. We're not going to leave town. Mike, you are a character. Definitely. See how we're creeping higher? Look at those 1-minute candles, just like creep, creep, creep. And you don't think they will, right? Everyone wants to short this thing. But say you just put on a short at 34, 35, right? Before you know it, you go get a coffee, blah, 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 and now it's 39. This market creeps up on you, right? It's very frustrating to short this market. What's up, Mike Z? How you doing? Good morning, everyone. I don't want to short. Neither do I. They beat the short out of me after 2005, right? They beat the short out of me so bad that right now I miss a lot of shorts. So I started practicing shorting the backfill. They should have never changed the rules in 2005. But then again, we wouldn't have assets priced the way they are now, right? I don't think Microsoft would be $500, you know. Oh well, that's not for me to pontificate about. Howard, that's okay. We'll turn the ship around, brother. Don't worry. Rome was not built in a day. And also, to be fair, Howard, you're trading one of the most difficult markets to trade in a long time. The agenda is not. See, that's the other thing. They mess with you so much on the. Oh my God! Don't put in a new high. Come on, really? Somebody's got trapped short so badly here. This is obvious, right? This is like if you see this right before the open, it's like they're screaming, "We got somebody really short. Let's buy them in right at the top." I remember when I used to buy people in because you had to do it. It was on the phone, and they'd be screaming at you, "JJ, you rat bastard! Tell your client to go f himself." Oh. Shorts are trapped all over the place, Sonny. First place is, you want to know where they are? They're at the bottom of every half hour candle. 33, 27 half, 25, 22 a quarter, 18 half. Yesterday's high, right? So if you were like a tracker, these would be like, how like a wolf will lay down tracks or a deer will lay down tracks. These are the freshest shorts, right? These are the fresh squeeze shorts. The staler shorts are trapped here, right, at the overnight low. And they've been adding all night. How do I know that this is happening? Well, we wouldn't be trading at 63.41 on the open if people had not been adding. Well, you could use an hour candle, right? I use a half hour candle because TPO is set that way, AJ. But here's the rule of thumb. The longer the period of length of the candle, the more people will be using the top and the bottom as a stop. So if you have a 4-hour candle, you'll have a ton of people at the bottom of that stop and the top of that candle. You get it? So over a 4-hour period, you're going to have more people using, because it's very, very visual. Something I discovered about 10 years ago. That the bottom of the candles and the tops of the candles, and I tested it on all different time frames, right? It works really nicely on a half hour and longer. Probably works on 15 minutes too, but I haven't done the work. So I can't really say unless I've done the work. Okay, we got a seller at 42. Thank goodness. Does it work on 15 minutes too? Probably, right? Because a lot of people Like whatever popular time frames you guys use, they'll work. The more popular the time frame, the more popular the moving average, there'll be more people at it. You know what I mean? Waiting to transact. You know, it's like Night of the Roxbury, right? Everybody's at the hot club. Okay. Now, it's natural to be short biased. Okay? If you're trading off the open and you're short, where's your stop? It's right here. Okay? It's right here. Right? If you're shorting looking for an inventory correction lower, right? And you're putting offers out, hitting bids, so let's use 41 as a warning level, right? If you're short around here, 41's your warning, 42 quarter is your out, and they're off, right? Anybody got the breath off the open? There's that 41, right? So you've been warned. Don't be afraid to use the lookout bid if you're short. You know, if you hit the 40s, put some bids in. If you can't get filled on those bids, it's telling you, mister, be careful. Right? You know, I'll take them back at 39 and a half. I am not proud if they stop selling. 4 to 1? Oh, NQ. Okay. 2 to 1 NASDAQ. I mean, nicey thanks, Jeff. Right? Seller there. See? Seller is present. Not aggressive, but they're there. Making themselves known. If the order flow exists, the tendency is to try and run that high and then dump into it. So if you short early, be aware of that, okay? Right? So the premise for your trade if you're shorting, right, is that there are active sellers and they are lowering the offers. So the next candle is going to open in 6 seconds here. Let's see where it opens. Right? Seller's still there, but be careful now. If it starts offering over 41, right, govern yourselves accordingly, as the penguin would say. Watch there. See? Lift, print. Right? The naughty algo is sniffing out inventory. I mean order flow. Right? There's a little competition here. But if we can't offer under 41, then you're a nervous short seller, right? Now, if we take out that A low, right, we'll knock some inventory down and we'll look for 35 bids, right? So if you're short 39, I'm covering 36 and 3/4, right? I've got a few left to cover. Cover 1, 36, 36 half. I got one left. I got a 36 bid in, and I'm flat. Hey, David, how are you? We found the seller. We shorted. What we did was old school, right? Here's the seller. Can I sell next to you? Can I sell alongside? Sure, kid, sell alongside. Oh, when are you going to stop selling? Well, maybe around here. Okay, I'll stop selling and cover. Thank you. Right? Simple. Right? That's normal market action to correct inventory down when inventory is so long. Okay, sorry. Under 34 targets 31. So stop at 33. If we have enough supply, we'll break right through that 33. Somebody bought some right there. You know, somebody was asking me this morning why I don't trade other markets, and it's because I don't have the focus to trade multiple markets with the intensity that I trade this. Now, I'm not saying you have to do it this way, but I am a person of focus because I'm forced to be, because I have a short attention span. I get distracted very easily, and I get bored very easily. So I have to like do this razor focus thing, right? And literally trade like my life depends on it. Otherwise, I get distracted and I make mistakes, stupid mistakes. I miss trades, right? That's just me. So I'd rather trade one market well than two or three really poorly. And this way you get to really know a market. You know when it's tradable, when to leave it alone, right? So we came right to VWAP. Now, are we going to fill the gap? I don't know. Hey, Turtle Trader. Welcome to the room. NQ is what I call a much thinner market, Jose. The NQ is a much thinner market, which means a large size order can move the price drastically. So I prefer not to trade it. Now, there are people in our room who trade it well, but they have battle scars. Because the NQ order book can thin out instantly. So can the ES, but when the NQ thins out, boy, it can, you know, it's a little nuts for me. I like a little bit more calmer. That's just me now. So what I'm looking for now, oh, full-time ES trader, cool. I'm looking for the bid. Right? Where is that bid? The market's only been open for 8 minutes. I want to see the bid, where the bid is, so I can work off of it. Now, where's the bid? What is the bid? The bid is where the wholesalers stop selling. That's where they see those buy orders and they lift the offer away from where those buyers are and get them to chase. Still haven't found it. We're still looking. Right? Remember, support is created by unfilled buy orders. Knowing that tells you where to cover if you're short, helps you, do your log trades, because you find the bid, then you front run the bid and then sell into strength. Right? If you're short and you find the bid, that's where you cover. Yeah. Now, VWAP is usually a place where institutional folks do their business, so I'll let them work that out. I think we've got a seller at 30. They're kind of slowing down at about 28. If we get some follow through, let's see if we can run those stops at 27.5. There we go. Right. Nice. Looking for 63.19 and 3/4 now as we take those stops, right? Trap doors open, product falls out. Now we're close to yesterday's high. Let's see if we can get a gap fill. If you're short, you short down to where the bid is. Once we find the bid, that's where you cover. If you're waiting for a long, just chill out. Let's see where we catch a bid. Yesterday's high is at 15, so right now they're front running that high by about 7 points. Oh, you're using a 7-point stop, so you're using the previous day high as a stop. I get it. See if we can get above 23.5. There we go. And if we can just get out of the way of the top of that candle, there we go. Right. I want to see where they step in and start selling around here. So there it is. New candle opens up. The sellers are right here at 25. Let's see if we can clean out the 25s. And our next stop is 27.25. Nice trade, Turtle Trader. Nice. Beautiful, beautiful scalp. And that's exactly what I was talking about. Yeah, 5 points. I'll take 5 points any day. If people are giving away 5 points, I'll take them. 23 contracts. Heck, you could be done for the day if you wanted, right? Like our retired folks, that one trade, 5 points on 23 contracts. Now you go golfing. I don't know if you golf or not. I don't. Done for the day. Beautiful. One and done. A trader after my own heart. And that, my friends, is how you do business. One shot, one kill. Beautiful. Love to see it. Beautiful. See, folks, you don't have to look for a 30-point trade to make money, right? Once you know what you're doing, you just put on some size. It's a beautiful thing. Why this fall? It's called an inventory correction, Gabriel. Yeah, I've been up since 5 in the morning. I took one trade pre-market about an hour ago. And then that little one here. Do I trade BTC? No, I don't trade it. I invest in BTC and I own it. I have levels that I watch, and when it hits those levels, I'll buy some. But I don't trade it. I don't know the mechanics of Bitcoin. And I won't trade anything until I really know the mechanics of that market well. Gabriel, are you from Brazil? Okay, we've got sellers up here at, where is it? 28 right there. If we could creep that 28, let's go tickle VWAP. Beautiful. 5 Gs a day keeps the doctor away. Nicely done, Turtle Trader. Nicely done. Oh, this is the megaphone thing, Anne-Marie? Okay. I think we might test that 21 again. Let's see. Well, I'm sure he or she worked their way up to 20 contracts, right? I mean, you don't just start trading and start trading 20 contracts. You learn your craft and then you expand your business. Trading size just means you're expanding your business, right? Just like any other business. Right? Right? You just want to expand your business as you grow your skill. Yeah, I've never gotten into options. Like I said, just know one thing and stick to it. You know. So let's see if we can. Geez, this period still has 11 minutes left in this half hour. I'm watching for 19 and 3/4 to see if that breaks. Don't worry about it, Gabrielle. We'll stay with us. We'll inventory correction is a fancy way, Gabrielle, of saying they put the product on sale. Nobody wanted to buy it at 63.39. So they lowered the price to 34. Nobody wanted to buy it there, so they lowered the price to 30. And they had to lower it all the way down to 21, and that brought buyers in. Thanks, Turtle Trader. DM me if you need anything. Welcome to the room. We appreciate your feedback. Yeah, so an inventory correction just means a sale, right? When inventory's long, it gets put on sale. Good stuff. Well, welcome. I'll message you after the session. Sellers are parked at 24 3/4. They kind of stopped selling at 21. Now, as we wait for more customers to come in the store, I'd love to see a look below and fail of 19 3/4 Turtle Trader. You know that failure to fill the, or you know what's a nice trade is when it fills the gap and then does that bounce up from it. You know, because it fills the gap, all the shorts come in to cover, and then wholesale pulls the offer. That's always a nice trade. Sorry, that was Chard that answered that. I am indeed that gorilla, gamer gaming. That is me. Are you someone from my past? Are you the ghost of clients past? Are you the ghost of market makers past? Hell, are you the ghost of securities lawyers past? Who knows, right? uh, what a life, what a life. Crazy people I've met. This chop is making me thirsty. So now chart adventurous traders would try and build a long position here and use 20 as an out. See, you got that reference, right? Thanks, Leslie. Leslie keeps me from feeling like a senior citizen. Do I look at? No, I do not look at Bookmap at all. It's completely useless. I like keeping life simple. That 1 minute candle chart tells me so much information. The TPO chart is kind of like a map of the neighborhood. The visuals give me a headache and make me want to throw up on that particular software that you're talking about. That software gives me a headache and I feel like throwing up. So, you know, it's like a Jackson Pollock painting. You can't really look at it too long. It's useless, Anne-Marie. It's marketing. It's a beautiful marketing tool, right? And here's the thing, right? Any large trader would be insane to show their size in an order book. Because everybody would they'd front run you. They'd pick your bones clean. Right? It'd be like poker players showing everybody their cards. Right? Right? Nobody shows their orders in an order book. Listen, if I want to push a stock up to sell a bunch, I'm going to show million share bids. If I'm short a stock and I want to push it down, I'll put a million shares on the offer and hit every bid. Right? But I'll have a bunch of bids underneath to collect all that cheap product. Little shake and bake. Right? You don't ever show your true intentions if you're a size trader. Right? You never show your intentions. Right? What are my thoughts on gamma exposure? It didn't really work well for the Incredible Hulk. Kind of made his life a little tough. Honestly, I don't know what gamma exposure is. I have no clue. All I know is Dr. David Banner did not have a good time. Right? He went through pants like crazy. Like his clothing budget must have been every time he gets mad, he has to go buy a new set of clothes. So I am not for gamma exposure. Now Mike knows about second deviations and all of that stuff because Mike's had a lot of gamma exposure. Because they used to lock quants in the server room. We got to have a sense of humor in chop, right? There's no sense getting chopped up here. You know, if you're going to be in my trading room, we're going to crack a few jokes. Otherwise, this business gets pretty boring if you don't have a sense of humor. Yeah, no, honestly, guys, I don't use all the fancy stuff. Right? I don't use all the fancy stuff. Croc 4 suggested me as an ES authority? Get out of here. Well, thank you, Circus Muscamus. No way. That's pretty cool. I'll have to thank it somehow. Really? How do you thank AI? Like, what's a gift that you buy AI? That is so cool. I had no idea. Buy a Tesla. I got no place to plug it in, Jeff. I live in an apartment. BlackRock hit 12.5 trillion in management. Black Trident. The overlords of our market. I got to take a screenshot of this. My girlfriend will get a kick out of it. Yeah, Gabrielle, well, we have all my videos are on YouTube. And then we also have the trading room, which is like $40 a month. And then if you use the coupon code, it's 25% off, right? So you could do that. Try it for a month. And if you join the room, message me when you get in the room. I'll help walk you through it. right? If you really need help, I'll get on the phone with you, right? You could try that out. It's like less than 50 cents a day, and it's month to month if you want, right? Here we go. Let's see if we can fill that gap. And when you're ready, you can trade with, you can open trading accounts with people like Apex and stuff like that who we work with, and there's discount codes for them as well. So you don't have to trade your own money when you're learning, right? Luckily, retail trading has become popular, and now there's a lot of options for you guys, which is great. When I started trading, gosh, I remember 1992. They had to hardwire terminals into my boss's office. I think it was like 4,000 a month, and it was called Star Quote, and it just had Canadian level 1, and then I think it put out the price every like 5 minutes. I don't think it was even like real time. See how it's kind of slowing down as it creeps into that. I think we're going to fill the gap. That would be very healthy. We're still looking, Mike. We haven't failed yet. If we fail, it's because they front run that gap, which they're kind of doing now. So here, let's see, right? There's a seller at 19 and 3/4. Nope. They start getting aggressive. I would like to wait until we fill the gap and then come back up over 20. The gap's at 15. Oh, come on. Don't do that yet. No, see, there's a seller at 19 and a half, 19 and 3/4. The looking below is the first part, right? Now it looks like it's failing, but it's a little choppy. Give me a sign. I need a poor low or I need a gap fill. I need a poor low or I need a gap fill. I won't go long until it gets back up over 20. Right? I'm going to let the large traders work this area out, right? Because they've got the big wallets, right? Big spenders. Let the big spenders work this level out. This is like when you go to lunch with your really, really rich friends. The bill comes, you get alligator arms, right? You don't reach for your wallet. Here we go. Are we failing yet? And I'm proud of myself that I haven't traded early and gotten stopped out, which is what I usually do. I usually take this first candle or the second one, get stopped out, and then I go, okay, I gotta wait. It would be very, very healthy to fill that gap. Yeah, you're right. See? Good looking out, Mike. Candle tops are still descending. The offer is moving lower. Still, it's still on sale. This is where you play it cool when you're waiting for that dinner check. They put it on the table. Don't reach for it. Don't reach for it. It's going to be like 2,500 bucks. See? It's like Omni when his father and his uncle made me take them to lunch as clients. It's the first time I did that. I think they nailed me for $2,500 just for lunch. Thank God my boss's credit card held, didn't explode. Here we go. Thought I was going to swallow my tongue. Here's the gap fill. Let's see how much they front run that. Come on, just fill it already. Come on. See how it stops right at the stops to the pretty much to the tick. Right? A little there. Gap filled. Good. Now. Now, it wasn't at an East Indian restaurant. It was at this place called Joe Forte's in Vancouver. Like some very expensive fish place. So if you're long the gap fill, remember that there's sellers up here in the 19s, okay? Don't be afraid. Right? Sell a little at 18. Right? That, see how it's found some bids here, right? What do you guys call that pattern when you have two candles with the same base in this thing? Kind of that tells you that those sell orders are kind of complete. I've seen that a bunch of times. I don't know what the pattern is. Upside down, tea kettle, something like that. It must be something. You guys must have a name for that. Sellers are here at 21 and 19 and 3/4. Tweezers? See, I knew you guys had a name for it. Doji? Is that what that is? But there's a pattern, right? Where you have these two candles that have the same bottom and then this. Basically means the sell orders are done. The market maker takes this in and then boom. Right? If I was a market maker, this is what I'd take in pro. Fill the order book here and then boom. Tweezers. Well, that's a handy tool. And that's easy to remember. Okay. Beats upside down tea kettle. Now, can we buy some here? Can we lie a little bit in the 21s using, I guess I would use the bottom of this candle here, 19 as an out. So if you're buying 21 1/4, 21, you might have to let it work a little bit because it's that first push. Right? Yeah, see? Might want to wait till it lifts again. Let's see, 25 seconds till the next candle. Right? Basically, we're cleaning all that inventory that fell out. Pretend like a vacuum cleaner bag broke open and there's dust here. So we've got to clean all that dust before we go back up. Right? So if we can get over 22 1/4, that would help the longs. It's not quite ready to go yet. See, yeah. It's not solid yet. Still dust in the shelves. Still dust in the shelves. Did the other markets reverse the CPI move? That's interesting. Now, we've got to creep over 21. That's the next pit stop. So I've got a lookout offer at 21. Oh, they took it. They took it. Okay. Now, can it hold 19? And can we offer, let's put a lookout offer at 21 and a half and see if that gets taken. Not yet. And I'll hit bids because where I got long, sorry, was like just here when it came back up over 19. And if it's not taking my offer, I will sell the bid if I have a couple of contracts. Right? There's nothing wrong with that. And flat. Ah, why do we only use 30-minute time frame in TPO? TPO was invented in Chicago. Now in Chicago, on the floor apparently, they used to mark trades by every 30-minute interval. So 9:30 to 10 was A period. 10 to 10:30 was B period. So the guy who came up with this, Peter Stadelmeyer and Jim Dalton, that's why they programmed it that way. And I've heard of people using 15-minute TPO and hour TPO, but I haven't done the work to know whether or not it works. So it's just the way they taught it is really why it's a Chicago thing. Look below and fail is finally working. The selling was controlled, wasn't it? There you go, S-Pill. There you have it. Hey, well, you're supposed to have a conversation with me, aren't you, S-Pill? Let me know when. Sorry, I've been a little absent-minded this week. Yeah, it's a complete Chicago thing. You know what would be pretty interesting? Given that the ranges are so much bigger in this market now than they were in the 80s when these guys came up with this stuff. It'd be interesting to see what a 15-minute TPO looks like and how well it works. You know what I mean? So, what are the trades we love to take? We love this look below and fail, right? I took it a little early and sold into the strength, but the picture perfect trade, hindsight being 2020, right, is when it did this, came back through, and we would have been going long here in the 20s. stop under that candle, and then selling into this strength, right? That's a nice trade, right? This, I'm going to have to research that more for the candle wax crowd, because I find when you get those two candles like that and this one that dips underneath, that means I'd take that in pro if I was a wholesaler, because I know that's the end of the order, and then boom. So something I'll research that. Okay, where's the seller now? Right, very clear. Sellers are right here, 24 and a half. See, these three candles have the same top. That's where the sellers are executing. That's where they're all, if you think of like crows on a power line, right? They're all sitting there grabbing all the buyers as they come in. When they start to compete, the next candle, the top of it will be lower because they'll move their sell orders down to compete against each other. Turtle soup? That does not sound appealing. Ugh. Sorry, I've been fasting all morning, so I get to eat after class, so I'm kind of hungry. He said turtle soup. It didn't make me any hungrier. Let's see if that seller's still there at 24.5. No takers yet. Oh, there, we got a taker at 25. So, like we were saying earlier, for larger traders, right, we cut this trade up in a couple of trades, but it's nice to do where you do the gap fill, right? The market comes down, fills the gap, you go long, put your stop under there, and then sell into strength. That's a nice trade. That is a counter inventory trade. The reason the trade works is because the short sellers come in at 15 and bid to cover, right? When the short sellers come in to bid to cover, wholesale raises its offers, right? Because it senses buying, it lifts its offer to get people to pay more. It's okay. Mike Z, as Al Davis said, just win, baby. It doesn't have to be pretty. That's okay. Well done. Well done. Let's see if anybody here is old enough to remember Al Davis. Let's see who the Raiders fans are. Craziest owner ever. Exactly. Your uncle used to work for the Raiders? Wow. Yeah, NQ is not a very forgiving market. That's another reason I don't mess with it. Hey, nice work, Doug. Beautiful. Back down to that gap area, right? That previous day high. Let's see if it holds. How's leather jacket guy doing here? Leather jacket guy, 170.74. See that 172.37? Told you guys that there was a seller there, right? So this is how you use this on equities. Okay? If you're long and you know that there's a seller at 172.37, get out before the seller knocks it down. Right? If you're short, you can short 172 against 137 because you know sellers are there. And then as the market comes down, cover. Now, I don't know. I don't like to short these flyers, but if you are so inclined, your question is out of the subjects? Sorry, what's your question? I'm sorry I didn't see it. Did I miss it? I apologize if I did. I don't see you asking a question. You're just messing with me. But as they say in Liverpool, are you messing? See, Raj, I'm gonna be fluent in Scouse very soon. Folks in my coaching class, we are going to have a price action lab today. Second time we found that bid at 19. Okay. Okay. $20 to 25? Nice. Good, good, good. And it's going to chop around here while we clean it up. Hey, Jen. Ça va? How's your summer going? No, it's kind of relaxed now. I've had a couple of good trades, and I'm not going to execute unless I see a good opportunity. La guerre québécoise. I don't know. Has I have I have not even I haven't looked at the news. I hope there's no war in Quebec. Ugh. Oh, fair. I do love Montreal in the summer. Oh, no Quebec core gang. Uh, All right. We're in this basic rotation. Yes, I do. And you can tell I've been fasting all morning because you guys started talking about Quebec, and I automatically started thinking about Tautier. uh, Dieting, the challenge is real. No trades for me now, folks. But you can see that there's a clear rotation, right, between 19 and 3/4 and 24 and a half. It just keeps bouncing back and forth. Oh, you're 2 hours away from Montreal? Nice. Putin. Okay. What else is going on? What's the hot stock today, other than leather jacket guys, Nvidia? Serious question. Doesn't the market usually sell in the summer? There is this saying called sell in May and go away, but it's fairly old. And the way I always interpreted sell in May and go away was run a deal, in May, June, right? Sell all your stock for deal people, right? Run your deal when people are hot to trot, get rid of it, and then take the summer off, right? Like go to the south of France or, one of those hoity-toity places, right? But that's for deal people, right? As a market theory, I've never really looked at it. And I don't think it's been working well lately. Because sometimes we get these ridiculous summer rallies. Yeah, I'm glad I'm long Bitcoin. This is the first time I've actually held something long for more than 36 hours and it's worked out. Very happy about that. I don't trade it, I just buy it. When they beat the holy living crap out of it, I buy a little. And I just put it away. Very small position. Very small. Nice work, Jose. Nice work. Well done. How was the coin of bitterness this morning off the open? 117. Okay. It's not bad. A little profit taking. That doesn't hurt. CYCC. I've got to enable. Oh, it's one of these pharmaceutical deals? Oh, nice. That's a nice pump. Good volume. Beautiful plumage. Oh, yeah. Look at that nice 5-minute chart. Yeah, those are proper villains. Nice work. Look at the volume. 19.6 million shares? Oh, that's beautiful. Up 300%. That'll get everybody coming in. Oh. See you, Mike. Have a good day. I don't think that's what he means, crypto. I think that's a stock symbol. I hope. Well, folks, it's been a little slow here. If we get back under 15, look for yesterday's close at around 9.5. Okay? Give it some time. Take your time to wait for the right setup. Don't overtrade, okay? We will see you tomorrow morning. Please come visit us at thetradingsyndicate.org. I'm JJ, vwaptrader1 on X. Thank you so much. And folks in the coaching class, we have an 11 o'clock, okay? We have much to discuss. Thanks, everyone. Have a great afternoon. Trade safe out there, okay? Bye for now.